So I'm going to go through here fairly quickly. So number one, what's a radius? Okay, XV is 1, XU, XT, XZ. Any of those would work. Okay, name a diameter. ZT is the only one that's drawn. Okay, name one that's just a chord. Okay, RS is just a chord. Is ZT a chord? So
it is a chord, but it's also diameter.
So can a diameter be a chord? Yes, and actually the answer is not just yes, the answer is always. A diameter is always a chord. Okay, if the circumference of a circle is 44, what's the radius? Okay, so circumference equals pi times diameter, right?
Yes.
So if the circumference is 44, that equals pi times the diameter divided by pi on both sides. And what's 44 divided by pi?
14.
Okay, 14.00 something. Okay, this asks for the radius. Divide that by 2, so the radius is, it's about 7 centimeters. Okay, in circle C, if the measure of arc AB. Okay, so arc AB is 65 degrees. So this wants to know what the measurement of arc DB would be. Okay, good, because from D to A, that's half a circle, a semicircle, right? How many degrees is in half of a circle? 180. So to find dB, we're just going to do 180 minus 65, and what's left is going to be dB. Whatever, I think I said that wrong, but you know what I mean. 180 minus 65 gives us 115. Now, this asks for the measurement of these angles. So angle ACB. So angle ACB is this angle right here. How big is that angle? 65. Remember, the central angle and its arc are congruent to each other. The central angle and its arc are congruent. So how big is angle BCD right here? 115 degrees. Okay, number 7 says find the arc length. The arc length. Okay, here's the formula. 2 pi r times m over 360. So on this one, it's 2 pi times 8 times 45 over 360. What does that give you?
6.28.
6.28?
Yes.
All righty. Okay, number 8 says find the radius of a circle if a 24-meter chord is 9 meters away from the center. Okay, so we're going to have this circle. You have this 24-meter chord, and it says that it is 9 meters from the center. So we're looking for the radius, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a radius from here to here. Now, this whole chord is 24. So whenever this talks about going to the center, that means it's perpendicular. So it's going to cut this in half. So how long is it going to be from here to here?
12.
It's going to be 12. So basically inside of this, you're going to have where this side is 12, this side is 9, and we're looking for this side, which is going to be the radius of the circle. So how would I find that side? Okay, Pythagorean Theorem. Now this one I'm looking for the hypotenuse, so do I add or subtract? Add. So 12 squared plus 9 squared square rooted. And that's going to give you 15 meters. Okay, next one says find the diameter. So the diameter is this right here. So again, you can see this makes a right triangle in here. So I'm looking for the hypotenuse, so do I add or subtract here? Add. So 7 squared plus 24 squared square rooted. That gives you 25. Okay. Now, that's the answer to number 9. Number 10 says find the circumference. So, again, how do we find circumference from the diameter? Just times pi. So I'm going to go pi times 25. Okay, number 11 says find the measurement of angle ABC. All right, first of all, in a full circle, how many degrees is there? 360. So the first thing I need to do is find out how many degrees this arc is from here to here. So we'll do 360 minus 115 minus 95 is 150 degrees. And then from there, what I'm ultimately after is the measurement of this angle. How am I going to find the measurement of that? Divided by 2. So remember, this is what we call an inscribed angle right here. This is where the angle's on the edge. So we divide by 2. And so what does that give you? Gives you 75. As this number 9. Okay. On this one, this chord is congruent to this chord because they're both 18. But past that, I don't really care about the 18. Okay? That's just there to let me know that those two chords are congruent. So what that means is that the two arcs that they create are congruent. Okay? So to solve for x, we're just going to put 4x minus 9 equals 135. Add 9. 4x equals 144 divided by 4. X equals 36. Okay, number 15 is the exact same 10, so I'm not going to worry about that one. Okay, number 16 says find the length of DE. All right, how long is the radius of this circle A? Okay, it's 40 plus another 10, so the radius is how long? 50. Okay, it's 50 units. So any radius that I draw on here should be equal to that. So what I'm going to do, because I'm looking for the length of DE, that's ultimately what I'm looking for. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to draw this radius, because that radius right there definitely helps me out from A to E. So how long is AE? It's 50 right here. We just said the radius of this circle is 50 units. So it doesn't matter what radius I draw. I could draw this radius, it's 50. This radius is 50. This radius is 50. This radius is 50. It's just that drawing this radius is the one that's actually helpful for what I'm doing. All right, so now notice we create this right triangle here. So we're going to use Pythagorean Theorem. How are we going to set this one up? 50 squared minus 40 squared, because on this one, 50 is the hypotenuse. When we know the hypotenuse, we subtract. So what does that give you? Gives you 30. So this is 30 from here to here. So this is 30 from here to here. So how long is DE? Is 60. All right. Number 17 asks for the measurement of arc SR. So this one has a few steps on this one to get here. My main problem here is I need to know what X is. Because what angle is going to help me find arc SR?
P.
Angle P, right? If I knew angle P, this arc is just going to be double whatever angle P is. So I need to find out how big angle P is. Well, what's keeping me from knowing how big angle P is? Is I don't know what X is. So I've got to find some relationship within this problem, some way to find what the value of X is. Okay, this is what people would naturally do here. Do you think this angle and this angle are congruent to each other? No, they're not. Okay, so that's not the relationship I'm going to use here to find the value of X. What do you think we're going to do here? Okay, so that's one thing. This angle right here, this angle S, Okay, how big is this angle S? 90, because if you think about it, this arc right here is half of a circle 180. And so this angle, this inscribed angle, is half of that arc, so it's 90. And now from here,
It's going to be 7x minus 1.
okay, so there's several ways you could look at it, but the easiest way is just the three angles of a triangle always add up to 180. So I'm going to do this plus this to equal 180. So it's going to be 3x plus 1 plus 90 plus 7x minus 1 equals 180. And from here, we're just going to combine like terms. So we have 3x and 7x. It's 10x. And then 1, 90, and negative 1. It's just 90. Equals 180 minus 90. 10x equals 90 divided by 10 on both sides. And x equals 9. So that gets us most of the way there, but we still have two more steps to take before we get to our final answer here. So I need to take this 9 and plug it in here. Oops, take this 9, plug it in here. So 3 times 9 plus 1 is what? Is going to be 28. 3 times 9 is 27 plus 1 is 28. And now to get to arc SR, what am I going to do with that 28? Double it, multiply it by 2. So 28 times 2, 56. Okay, number 18. What's the measure of GH? Okay, so I'm looking for this arc right here. All right, so what do I know about these two angles right here? They're congruent. So we're going to set them equal, solve for x. So I'm going to subtract x on both sides. X equals 21. Well, sorry. I jumped there, but 2x equals 42 divided by 2. X equals 21. Now I need to take that 21, plug it back in up here. What's 3 times 21? Is 63. And now from that angle, how am I going to get to that arc out there? Times 2. So 63 times 2. 126. Okay, number 19 says, what's the measurement of arc in Q? So this right here. Okay, from M to Q is how many degrees? 180. So there's 55 right there. So I'm just going to do 180 minus 55. That's going to give us 125 degrees. All right, moving on. Okay, this says find the measurement of each arc. I'm just going to do a couple of these. So the way this circle is split up, you can see it's split up in percentages, not in degrees. So I want to know how many degrees each slice is. So I'm going to go 360 times 0.40, which is what? Is what? 144. On this one, I'm going to go 360 times 0.30, 108, and then one more 360 times 0.14 is what? 50.4 degrees. Okay, so just pretty simple on that. Just multiply 360 the total times the percentage as a decimal. Okay. So on this one, all right, from here to here is how many total degrees? Is 225 if you add those two up. Okay, and y is actually talking about this whole angle right here. So if you remember, how do you get from this arc to this angle? There's just one thing you got to do. Divide it by 2. So the arc divided by 2 gives you this angle right here. So 225 divided by 2 is 112.5. That gives you y. Okay, now to find x. Okay, so first of all, before I find x, I've got to find this angle right here. Okay, this angle right here. Remember how we get to that angle. Okay, this is not a central angle, it's not an inscribed angle, so it's neither of those. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this arc and this arc, add those up and divide by 2. So I'm going to go 105 plus 85 divided by 2. 95? Okay, so this angle is 95 right here where the purple is. But I'm looking for x, the one right next to it. So how do I do that? So I'm going to go 180 minus 95. So it's going to be 85 degrees. Okay, number 23. So on this one, this is one where it's going to be whole times outside equals whole times outside. Okay, how long is this whole segment NL? 10 times the outside piece, 6. Okay, how long is the whole thing JL? Yeah, x plus 7, 7 plus x times the outside piece, which is 7. So we get 60 equals 7x plus 49. Just multiply 10 times 6, and then distributing the 7 over there. Subtract 49. So 7x equals 11 divided by 7. It's going to be 1 point something. 1.5 what? Okay, number 24 is pretty much the same thing as 21 and a combination of a couple things. We're going to run out of time, so I'm just going to keep moving here. If we have time, we'll come back. But okay, on number 25. So on this one is where it's going to be whole times outside equals the tangent piece squared. Okay, so how long is the whole thing GJ? X plus 4 times how long is the outside piece? 4 equals 6. Which is the tangent piece squared. So we get 4x plus 16 equals 36. Subtract 16, 4x equals 20. So x equals 5. Okay. Yeah, we're going to do 26 quick. So this one says, what's the measurement of angle JKM? So this is what I'm looking for. All right, so this 60, I assume, is talking about this arc. It's got to be. So that's 60. This is 190. So total of the 60 and 190, what's that? Is 250. So if that's 250, how much is left for here to here? 110. And so how am I going to get from that arc to this angle? Divide by 2. And so what's that going to give me? It's 55. Okay, 27, what's the measurement of angle JBM? Okay, so it's looking for this angle. But before we find that angle, we need to find this angle right here where the B is actually at. Okay, so it's this plus this divided by 2. So 120 plus 80 divided by 2 is 100. So that's this angle. So how big is that angle right next to it? It's got to be 80. Okay. So we've already done one like this one, but I want to do this one because this one's where we're going to have to do some graphing, I think. Whole times outside equals whole times outside. All right, how long is this whole thing, this one right here? It's x plus 12, right? Because it's this piece plus this piece. So if you have x plus 4 plus 8, that just ends up being x plus 12 times how long is the outside piece there? 8. Equals, okay, how long is this whole thing going to be? Yeah, because 2x plus 1x, that's how you get the total, is just adding them, not multiplying them. That's very tempting to want to do that, but that's not. The way you get it is by adding these. 2x plus x, or 1x, is 3x. So the whole thing is 3x times how long is the outside piece? X. Okay, so on the left-hand side, when we distribute the 8, we're going to get 8x plus 96. And on the right-hand side, 3x times x is what? 3x squared. Now, I'm not going to be able to cancel out the x squared. I'm not going to be able to cancel out the x. So this is a quadratic function here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have to subtract the 8x, and I'm going to have to subtract the 96 to equal 0. See, I've got to move all that over, so I have to subtract 8x, subtract 96. And then from there, we're going to go over and we're going to graph it. All right, so it was 3x squared, what was it, minus 8x minus 96? Is that right? Okay. And we can't have negative length, so really we're just focused on the positive side here. So it's at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, but you can tell it doesn't cross exactly at 7, so how can we see where it really crosses at? Okay, menu 6.1, we're just going to find the zeros here. I'm going to click there, sweep it across, and you can see 7.15. So x equals 7.15. Okay. On this last one, here's what I'm going to do is I'm going to complete this, and this is going to look like trash. I'm going to do my best, but I'm not going to be able to do it good enough. Yeah, whatever. Okay, so we're going to say this is x down here. And so this gets cut in half, 25 and 25. So if you remember the relationship on this is this going to be 20 times x equals 25 times 25. So 20x equals 625, I believe. Divide by 20. And x gives you 31.25. Now, this is 31.25 here. This was 20. So that's going to be the whole diameter. So how long is that whole diameter? It's 51.25. That's the diameter. But this is asking for the radius, so how are we going to find the radius from that? Divide that by 2. So 51.25 divided by 2. 5.63. Okay, here's what I'm going to do. I've got this page that has a blank thing here with all the different rules, a lot of these rules that we've learned through this whole unit. It's been a pretty long unit, okay? So it's blank, but there's a YouTube link on here. The video's like 9 minutes long. So what I'm going to let you do tonight for homework, if you want to, you don't have to, but if you want to, tonight for homework, you can get on, watch that YouTube video, fill this out. This will be like a cheat sheet that you can use on your test tomorrow, okay? It'll kind of give you all the different rules for all this stuff. Not every one of them, but most of them, okay?